Hi, welcome to the Ambient iPad. Let's make some music. We're going to continue on with our series of using the Mellotron with the Gauss Field Looper app. In previous videos, we've covered the sounds of the Mellotron Mark I and Mark II. For this video, we're going to concentrate on the sounds from the Mellotron M300. Sounds coming out of the Mellotron's mono output into a Focusrite Scarlett 18i8 interface, which then goes into the iPad. So we'll be using the iPad again for effects and for recording. Let's run through each of the sounds of the M300 first. There's not a lot of them on the Mellotron. The M300 was only available, I think, for 2 or 3 years in the late 60s, early 70s. It was meant to be a more portable version of the Mark II. And they created all new tapes for it. They ended up using a lot of those tapes in later models, which I think is why there's not a lot on here. It's just the unique ones. But let's run through each one, each of the sounds, and hear what we've got to work with. All right, so we've got string. We've got a number of string sounds here. It sounds like two strings, if not 3. So this is a high version, string A. We've got a low version. And these ones lend themselves, the record, it just kind of it gives me a chamber music feel, so we might do something like that. Then we've got string B, a high and a low version. This is a single string, so it sounds much better as a single, kind of solo. Sounds like a viola to me, but I could be wrong. And then the low version. Cello territory. All right, we move on. We've got a slow vibraphone, very similar to the vibraphones I've used before in other model. You can hear that slow vibrato. And finally, a clarinet. So those are the basic sounds that we're going to have to work with. So maybe we'll do a chamber music kind of thing, and then maybe we'll use the high as a counterpoint. So I'm going to limit the amount of string sounds then because they quickly get really dense and muddy. And I think doing it that way, we're not going to use Gauss in the way I've been using it, which is to build up soundscapes. Instead, we're going to use it as a loop recorder. And there's a way to determine how long the length needs to be in order to fit a particular progression, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let me get some effects set up here, and we'll walk through the effects quickly, and then we'll get into this jam. So I'd like, because we're going to use a chamber music kind of thing, I'd like to use QVox. Where is it? Maybe. Let's just add it in here. It's, you know what? Let's just pick. I've been using this preset that's fine. Let me just get all the effects going here, and then we'll walk through them. You know what? MicroPitch. I'm not sure I'm even going to use some of these, but would use that as a chorus. A delay. K7D. Let's just stick with that. I really mentioned a million times before I like this. I have some basic tape delay things set up. Reverb, you know, I'm not, I recently got Velvet Machine. I'm going to add that, even though I'm not really sure that would be appropriate here, although there is a preset, this synth widening. Actually, it kind of gives you a room reverb sound. We'll demonstrate that. And I'm not going to use Black Hole because I want more of a chamber music kind of roomy type of stuff. So we'll use a plate reverb. We could use a room reverb, but good start. And actually, for once, I'm not touching the mix because I'm not using this for percussion. Let's just skip one space just in case we want to add something else, and let's just put Gauss in here. Connect and show. We'll get back to Gauss. All right, let's walk through each of the effects and hear what they sound like. Let me use the clarinet. So, dry sound, QVox. So you can hear those multiple pitches and that high organ kind of sound. MicroPitch. All right. K7D, little tape delay. Basic tape delay. All right. And the Velvet Machine. Just adds kind of a room reverb to the sound. And then finally, ADverb2. A little bit of a small hall kind of sound. Let's hear what that sounds like with the strings. All right, maybe a little big if it was in isolation, but when you have a number of different instruments going with different sounds, the reverb never seems to sound as big, so I think we'll be good here. Let's get Gauss set up. So we're not going to use this, as I just mentioned before, with building up a soundscape. I'm going to use it for, let's just get, before I forget, because let's just make sure we've got Gauss going through the effects, the effects imprinting on the Gauss loop. Let's just start with the reverb here. And what I want to do is, so we're not going to change speeds, we're not going to use the sequencer and all that stuff that I've typically used. What we do need to do though is, I want to set up the loop so I can do this descending A minor, so that'll be 8 bars. Now I've got this set on 100 tempo, so there are calculations you can use in order to figure out what the loop length should be. You can just go on the web and you can find a lot of, like a calculator that'll help there. So we've got our tempos 100. We know we want 8 bars. So I just know, because I've done this before, that we want 19.2 seconds. That's what we want the loop length to be. So let's get up here to 19.2. All right. We want overdub on. What I'm going to need to do is I'm going to hit these both at the same time, because I don't want to use a metronome, but I'll use a visual representation as apeMatrix is going to make sure that we can keep this hopefully in time, so that it is a true loop. So let's give this a try. All right, so that fits. Delay's not really adding anything here. So let me pause here and zero everything out and get the levels set, and we'll come back and we'll do a live jam. Not sure how that vibraphone ending worked out, but hey, it's a live jam, a live improvisation, so you just have to go for it. Overall, I'm happy with the jam, so I'm going to stick with it. We still have 3 more models of the Mellotron to go through, the M400 and a couple of the Chamberlain models. But we used mostly string sounds today, and we really only used a few different sounds. But it was nice to have a chamber music vibe or a string quartet vibe with that sound set. Well, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and good luck with your own music.